Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking about Trevor, Bryan and Bermane, Stiverne and the whole WBA situation as it is. So Trevor Bryan was originally supposed to face Manuel Shaw for the WBA regular. The WBA regular is a secondary belt. It is considered a top belt. To put it into context, the WBA Super Champions Anthony Joshua and the WBA Super Champion is regarded as a world champion. The WBA regular is not. And some cases you could say a belt is as good as a champion. I mean, for an example, the WBA regular lightweight champion is Gervonta Tank Davis. He is considered to be a top five in that division. So sometimes it's really down to who owns it and what value do they bring. Examples are Povetkin when he had the WBA regular. He unified He tried to unify. I mean, unify is really in inverted commas. But he tried to fight for the WBA Super, and WBA regular is really a glorified mandatory. So, like Manny Pacquiao having a WBA regular against Adrian Broner. Um, in fact, he fought Matisse for the WBA regular, didn't he? Fought Broner and then had the shot of Thurman. That was a super champ at the time. So, in a way, it's a glorified mandatory. It's a glorified mandatory, so to speak. It's a secondary belt, and it's really not considered to be a main belt that impacts any division. So we get on to the fight. So Trevor Bryan was originally supposed to be fighting Manuel Shaw. Manuel Shaw has been a WBA regular champion, never defended it, and he won it back in November 2017 against Alexander Ustinov. Um, like I said, never defended it, and he was originally banned for using substances. Meanwhile, Trevor Bryan gets the WBA interim strap against BJ Flores back in I believe August 18, summer 2018, I believe, and hasn't fought since. Didn't fight till Stiverne. Um, but really, them two set up. Chan fought for years, had been involved in legal troubles. They did set up fight between these two. Shaw couldn't get a visa, and Don King, after his old tricks, doesn't give a documentation. So then, Manuel Shaw gets put into champion of recess, which, whatever you think of that, I mean, what I think of that, he was never a champion anyway in my eyes. Whatever, really. So then, Stiverne was originally supposed to fight Lovejoy in a card, and this was a baiting option. I think Don King always had Bryan Stiverne in his eyes for WBA regular, and I can say at the time of me making this video, Manuel Shaw has gone on to proceed legal action against Don King. Don King, even in his late 80s, however old he is, I think he's about 86, 87, still after his old tricks, he always does and always did. So on to the fight. The card wasn't great. There was two really bantamweight prospect and two cruiserweight guys. Filled in with classics. The undercard was mainly classics, so it was Chavez Randall 2, no, Chavez Randall 1, and Oscar De La Hoya Trinidad. I wasn't and I didn't buy the pay-per-view, by the way. I used my fight credits. I got plenty of credits on it, so I used those and watched it sadly. I watched this sadly. I couldn't find a stream for the life of me. And when in the current climate with COVID, January was a dead month for boxing. We only had Caleb Plant and Ryan Garcia Campbell really speaking. So finally we get to the fight. There's a lot of context behind this. Both came in at 267. Bryan, for his fight against BJ Flores, was 236, I believe. And mainly he's a high 220s to low 230s guy. And I once did fight at cruiserweight. He fought at 200 pounds, which is cruiserweight. Decided it was too strenuous to make it. So naturally, he's not a massive heavyweight. He's 6'4". He's got about an 80-inch reach or something like that. And came in significantly out of shape for his fight. Stiverne, 42 years old, hasn't been in shape since first Wilder fight, which is 6 years ago, may I add. So, and the fact that these two got a title shot, Bryan has only got to pass the Stiverne on his record now. And Stiverne has had this fight off the back of two losses. Wilder in a rematch on Joe Joyce. So the fight was pretty competitive early on, which shows Trevor Bryan's ability sadly at this present moment. But Trevor Bryan, as the fight got on, had more success with his jab. Now I felt Stiverne won round two. He did have a little flurry. His head movement was better than normal. And really seemed better than he has of recent. He did fade later on, and Bryan really started to dominate with his jab. And the further fight went on, to me, round 4 and round 5 is where Stiverne really started gassing. Came on late. Bryan, although he came in disgusting shape, 267, never really, to me, some people say different, but to me, never really seemed tired at any point. But he was quite active with his jab, and for someone out of shape, he's, like I said, quite active. And really did surprise me with his work rate, and maybe his work rate seemed better because Stiverne was really inactive. Now, the commentators did pick up that Stiverne had suffered a minor injury to his left bicep, like a little swelling. I did see it, but I don't know how bad it was really. Um, I don't think it affected him. It wouldn't have affected the outcome. And as the fight got further and further, Bryan was landing jab. Now, Bryan's jab was quite good. The jab was the only shot he was putting power into. I believe Bryan wasn't putting 100% his right hand. Like inexperienced, like myself in the past, doesn't put your hips and your feet into your shot. Like your power comes from your lower half of the body and your base. And he wasn't using that, and that's why it took him so long to get Stiverne out. Um, Further and further into the fight got more tired, and round 9, I think, it was not far before the stoppage. Stiverne had a decent round, and you could argue, I had a 9-1 of a stoppage, but I wouldn't be surprised if you give Stiverne 2, maybe 3 rounds. And personally, myself, I didn't feel it, but it's really up to you. That's a photo of Bryan, bro, when he is in shape on a showbox card. But he had lines around his rib area, fat around that area. Really came in disgusting shape. And then round 11 comes in out of nowhere. Bryan really comes forward for the first time in the fight, like with bad intentions, and he lands a nice couple of right hands. Stiverne goes down, more from exhaustion, but then the second knockdown was a really good shot, and Stiverne looked out. Now, personally, I thought they should have stopped it there, but luckily, Stiverne didn't take too much punishment before the stoppage. And Bryan is now the WBA regular champion. Um, this doesn't really change anything. I can see Char winning the case against Don King, to be honest. But it really shows how disgusting the WBA have been of late. And all the sanctioning bodies really don't mean much anymore. And before I go, I just want to go on to the WBA ranking situation that's come out recently. Heavyweight is a very good example. As some of you have heard, Manny Pacquiao has been stripped of his belt, similar to Charles being put as champion of recess. So Dennis Ugas is the welterweight champion now, similar to like Darren Haney, I guess, with the email situation. But yeah, look at these rankings. So Trevor Bryan, I don't know why he's number one and a champion. I'm confused with that myself. Usyk number two, Dino number three. Now this is where the problem is. Bogdan Dino. The two fights, his last two fights, he's lost. Yes, a juiced up Jarrell Miller. I think without the juice, he probably would have lost anyway. Maybe that's harsh comment for me to say, but he got knocked out by Miller in round 4, and he got knocked out by Pulev, I think, round 7. So he shouldn't be number 3, and I think that Bogdan Dino and Trevor Bryan will happen. And that's a good fight at that level, and then you've got PBC fighters who are quite dominative of the top 10. Bermane Stiverne's ranked number 11 to justify why he fought, but that is disgusting. And in fact, the World Boxing News, I believe, don't even recognise the WBA anymore. The WBA have gone that bad. The major media source don't even recognise them anymore. And the WBA, the WBC with the franchise thing, but the WBA really took the biscuit on what happened on the weekend. And this makes the WBC seem okay. Consensus is that the IBF is the best belt. It's to be argued that the IBF have really stupid mandatories. Caleb Plant yesterday against Caleb Truax shouldn't have happened. Josh Taylor against Abin Kong Song. What the hell is that? Never deserved to be in the ring with Josh Taylor. He couldn't lace his boots. So the sanctioning bodies need to sort themselves out. By the end of the day, whatever you think, Trevor Bryan is a WBA heavyweight champion. Not recognised as a champ, but I'm saying as I see it on the screen, I don't see him as a champion. But the whole situation with Don King, I genuinely can't wait for Don King to get out the sport. I mean, he's done some very good things, but the recent WBA farce, and that's the only reason I watched it, the lack of boxing and the funniness of the situation. But really, when all said and done, it's not funny. It's a serious matter, and really makes boxing look a significant joke, and more of a joke than what some professional boxers think about YouTubers doing a sport. Like, this is worse and that. So yeah, leave it there. Sorry for a bit of a rant, but Trevor Bryan, WBA heavyweight champion, and with a good performance over Stiverne, an old Stiverne, may I add. And I don't know why I just said good performance, because we've seen Wilder ice him, we've seen Joyce have him in 6. So it was a good performance at that level. It was a good fight at that level. But the WBA are a bunch of jokes. Same as all the organisations are jokes in a way. Even hardcore fans have just recommended and said, look, why do we just recognise the ring? It's all a joke. It's all disgusting. Well, either there you don't hear me. Go on. Thank you for watching, guys. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.